New question. Order. New question. The member from Kenora-Rainy River.
Thank you, Speaker. To the Premier. In April, Azraya Kokopenace, a 14-year-old girl and member of the Grassy Narrows First Nation, walked away from the Lake of the Woods Hospital in Kenora, and she was found dead 2 days later. There's a lot we don't know about what happened to Azraya. Why did the police drop her off at the hospital? Why did she walk away? But what we do know from her father is that Azraya needed help. Azraya was involved in the child welfare system and under the care of the hospital when she went missing. Speaker, will the Premier commit to bring the Kokopenace family and her community of Grassy Narrows some peace and back their call for a coroner's inquest?
Children and Youth Services.
Minister of Children and Youth Services.
Thank you, Speaker. And I want to thank the member for this important question. And whenever a child in the welfare system or outside of it is devastatingly impacted, as described here, we are all deeply concerned. And Speaker, we know there's more work to do in the child welfare system, and we're working very hard with our Indigenous partners for reforming that system and supporting culturally appropriate services and programs to those communities, and quite frankly, Speaker, looking at the broader system as well to make sure that children in care are front and centre, and that those children's best interests are always put first and foremost. So we work very closely with our Indigenous partners on child welfare reform when it comes to those communities, and we'll continue that work with them. Thank you.
Parliamentary.
Thank you, Speaker. To be clear, these services don't exist. They don't even exist in Kenora, where families are told that they have to travel 500 kilometres to Thunder Bay to access some of these very basic mental health services for youth. Speaker, yesterday's announcement of the Truth and Reconciliation process was a moment when government recognized the need to listen, to be humble, to acknowledge the powerful legacy of our relationship with First Nations. But we need to do more than just acknowledge. We need action on this mental health crisis resulting from this legacy for First Nations, especially for young people. A coroner's inquest is required here. What response does the Premier have to Azraya's family and for the community of Grassy Narrows, which is already reeling from environmental devastation? And what action is the Premier prepared to take?
Thank you. Minister.
Thank you, Speaker. And yesterday was indeed a very important day. In fact, I held a third roundtable with our Métis, Onwa and family friendship centres to develop the work further on our soon-to-be renamed Indigenous Child and Youth Strategy, and a big part of that is making sure we have the right mental health supports for Indigenous children, both from a prevention point of view as well as when children in those communities enter care. Speaker, the Minister of Health has announced additional funding to support the mental health and addiction strategy, and we recognize that additional supports are always required, and we've supported training for Aboriginal mental health and addiction workers with annual funding of $3 million. Is there more to do? Yes, and I'm happy to talk one-on-one with this member about this particular.
Thank you. New question.